Welcome, everyone, to episode 15 of the Chris Perish podcast, where you can find us live on Twitch at The Chris Perish, Facebook at The Chris Perish, and on YouTube at Chris Perish. Make sure you're leaving a like, a follow, a subscribe, hit that notification bell button to alert yourself every time that we are live, because you don't want to miss anything. If you expect to watch something, you don't want to miss anything. So yeah, make sure you do that. It also helps support the channel, and make sure that if you're ever shopping for some energy, you go to brogueenergy.com and just anything, whether or not you want some of the beautiful flavored energy that they have. My flavor is the blue raspberry, but you can get some merchandise. You can get a plethora of stuff. Just make sure that you're hitting that promo code PERISH, PERISH, in that cart, just so you can save 10%, because why not save a little bit of money when you can? But yeah, we're also live affiliation with Turnbuckle Studios, where they give you such programming as the Raw Patrol every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern, as well as Turnbuckle Talk every Tuesday at 8:05 Eastern. And then that you can also take and go follow Chris Best with his Saturday Night Gaming. He's playing a little bit Uncharted 3 now. But yeah. If you're in the chat, please be active. Please have some fun. Be respectful, but let's also have a good time today. In the words of Cody Rhodes, what do we want to talk about? This is an episode where, I honestly didn't know what exactly to cover, but, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can get to. We can get to the beautiful TNA news that we had. Apparently the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, apparently had a send-off at their show yesterday, as they are expected to not only be free agents, but the rumor is that they are to leave TNA as of April 1st. Not an April Fool's joke, but the Motor City Machine Guns could be driving elsewhere after April 1. My question is, which company do you guys want to see Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin in? Would you like them to be a team entered in the ladder match for the tag team titles at WrestleMania? I think that could be very intriguing. I think that'd be very interesting and very Hardy Boy-esque to make your debut at WrestleMania in a ladder match, potentially winning those tag team titles. I mean, imagine the feud we could see between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. Just going to put that out there. I think a lot of people might have time to watch that. But they can also go to All Elite Wrestling. Imagine them having some classics with FTR. They could also go up against the Young Bucks, House of Black. How about the Acclaimed? So a lot of options there. And you know what? They might even just shock the world and say, yeah, it's rumored that we're going to leave, but maybe we won't. We're TNA originals, and we're TNA for life. Maybe they stick with Total Nonstop Action, and they finish their careers where it really started for them, and that was Total Nonstop Action. Who knows? All I know is it would be very interesting to see what they could do. As a WWE fan, I'd love to see what they can do in WWE. But at the same time, I'd love to see what they can do elsewhere. Chris Best coming in and saying, "You just remind me to add some Rogue to my shopping list since they restocked their tubs." And yeah, not just restocked their tubs. They had a restock of restocks, their largest restock ever. So everything is back in as of right now. So if you want, go get. Just save some money. PERISH, Perish, 10%, Rogue Energy. Come on, people. Come on. It's good stuff. The flavors are delicious. Delicious. Chris Bass also coming in saying, I've always wanted to see more Alex Shelley in a WWE ring. Yeah, we saw a little bit of Alex Shelley in WWE teaming up with Kushida as part of the Time Travelers, I believe was their tag name. Correct me if I'm wrong there, chat. But yeah, he did a few things in NXT. Didn't do too much outside of that. Actually, I don't think he did anything outside of that, unless you want to count dark matches or, the odd like Velocity or stuff like that back in the day. But yeah, no, when it comes to WWE and like the main three brands, he did some stuff in NXT, mainly with Kushida, and I believe that was through the Dusty Classic, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, imagine if we got to see Motor City Machine Guns. That's the thing. Like, if they were to sign in WWE, do you expect them to go to NXT, or could we see them actually on the main roster, on a Raw or a SmackDown? No. All I know is if you really want to fire some new life into the tag team division, what better way than bringing in some machine guns? But then again, if they go to NXT, you can have Machine Gun Carl Anderson go up against the Motor City Machine Guns and have some Gallows and Anderson versus Shelley and Sabin. Wouldn't be terrible. Wouldn't be terrible. But I guess, like, what team would you want to see Motor City Machine Guns face? If there's a team out there that you have never seen them compete with, who would that team be? I did mention DIY, but I am going to have to say, if they ever got back together, I'd love to see Motor City Machine Guns versus Jimmy and Jey Uso. Just once. So, but I don't know. Chat, let me know. Motor City Machine Guns, who would be an ideal opponent for them? Because I think it's very intriguing. April 1. Free agents. That means that there's no 90 days, people. You could sign somewhere as of that day and start working. Just imagine. Just imagine if just mere days after they become free agents, they're winning the tag titles at WrestleMania in Philadelphia. How crazy would that be? Would you even be surprised by Triple H if he was able to pull that off in this era? Chris Best is saying, I was going to say it's possible that they join the triple threat match for the NXT tag titles, but it looks like they've already locked down who's in that match. Yeah. So, but at the same time, we've seen the Hardy Boys go into a ladder match where we thought there was already a filled out match, team card on that match. And then they're like, nah, we're going to add one more team. So, I mean, is it likely? Maybe not, but it's not impossible. But yeah, who knows? If you guys hear me sniffle, I am battling a little bit of a cold. So, my apologies there, but I wasn't going to not do this show. So, but yeah, I'm also reading up on a little bit more news about Dominic Mysterio. As you saw, he appeared on SmackDown on Friday, helping Santos Escobar defeat Rey Mysterio. It's being confirmed, or it's being rumored that he is not a member of Legado del Fantasma. He is not jumping ship from the Judgment Day. But could we see more of this, or could we see more developing stuff out of Dominic Mysterio with Legado del Fantasma? What does that mean for Dominic and Rey? Is that rivalry renewed? Will we see a rematch from last year's WrestleMania encounter between Rey and Dominic? Does Dominic want to spank Rey in Philadelphia? And here's the big question. Why did Dominic cost his dad the match? We thought this was over. Why? Why, Dom? Why? Perhaps we'll get a little bit more this Monday on Raw, or by chance, if you are living under a Dwayne Johnson, Turnbuckle Studios has you covered as a Raw Patrol. Survey the wrestling scenes every Monday night with WWE Raw. Well, we got a plethora of matches, more announced just recently by Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. So Ivar will go up against Andrade. Shinsuke Nakamura will go up against main event Jey Uso. And Shinsuke Nakamura, or sorry, not Sami Zayn, will go up against Bronson Reed, Big Bronson Reed. So Chris Best coming in saying, I heard they might do Rey versus Dom again at this point. I kind of don't want it. Basser coming in saying, good day, Perish. Good day, Basser. Basser talking a little bit, just kind of whatever. So if there is a topic at hand that you want me to discuss, feel free to just bring it up. Talk a little bit about Motor City Machine Guns being free agents as of April 1. Why Dom is attacking his dad again. So crazy. Also being rumored, it is expected that 7 matches per night of WrestleMania this year. That was exactly what I kind of imagined, but it's pretty interesting. Bastards coming in saying hair versus mask at Mania. Maybe. I think that's something we got to consider. Does Rey Mysterio plan on wrestling longer? It was being reported that him and Dom signed new contracts with WWE, but was Rey necessarily a full-time wrestler contract? No, nobody really knows. Could be. Might not be. Who knows? He could very well be the spokesman of perhaps like an ambassador for WWE, especially when it comes to Mexico or anything that is around Lucha Libre style. So yeah, interesting to note. But yeah, no, I mean, okay. Let's just play devil's advocate. If there is a hair versus mask match at WrestleMania, does that bring back the intrigue of Dom versus Rey? I mean, I'm going to say this. As a father now, I wasn't last time WrestleMania came. It would be pretty cool to see a father and son in a wrestling ring. Hits home a little different for me now. But if it's something to help Dominic, I'm all for it. I am all for it. I think this is the one story where Dom, the heel, the villain, I think he wins. That's how this chapter closes. I don't think Rey needs that definitive win to end this. It's more about Dom, in my opinion. Bastard coming in with the question saying, what are your thoughts on the IA. Am I saying this right? The IA Night AJ Styles segment from SmackDown this week, if you saw it. The LA Night. That was a lowercase L. Yeah. It was interesting. It's weird because like we've seen this before. If you're a longtime wrestling fan, you remember like Randy Orton, Triple H doing something similar. We've seen Edge and Seth Rollins do something sort of like it. We saw Pillman and Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day do it. Many people have done it before. I mean, I don't hate it. To me, there's always that little bit of, do I really think this is real coming out of my head? I mean, I know I'm watching a wrestling show and they're really attacking into that personal home invasion type, like real thing. Now, the one thing I think I preferred is the heel doing the home invasion, not LA Knight. Made LA Knight really look like an asshole in that, and I don't think that should be kind of the point. I think LA Knight should have been the one having his house being raided by AJ Styles, but I don't know. I didn't hate it. To me, when I look at this feud and the time, like if AJ Styles and LA Knight had a feud any other time of the year, I'd be totally behind it. But knowing that it's at WrestleMania, it's just not the match I want either one for. So it's bittersweet to watch this feud because I'm glossing over it. I truly am. I'm glossing over this, and I'm probably not appreciating what they're doing because it's something that I wished would happen at a different time. I think it might have been a stretch of a home invasion, and it's always tricky, especially with the day and age that we have now. Chris coming in saying, I want more of a build to Dom and Ray. I honestly thought they were going to go with Escobar versus Ray, which that could still be possible. Maybe Dom teams with Gator Del Fantasmo to take on the LWO in an 8-man tag. Yeah, I don't know. They got a couple weeks still to let it play out. It'd be intriguing if all these guys showed up on Raw. And you have to expect that maybe not necessarily tomorrow's edition of Raw and this edition or the next edition of SmackDown, but the one leading into Mania, that's where we're going to see all guns blazing. So we might get a little bit more of maybe a little bit more on Monday, a little bit more on Friday, but then we're going to get guns blazing in that final Raw, final SmackDown before Mania. Bastard saying, right idea, wrong execution, in my opinion, for the home invasion. The Pullman one scared me as a child and seemed too real. It did, especially when you saw the gun. And like, given your age, you just didn't see guns in wrestling, let alone in WWF at the time. I remember like back when I was a kid, I had to stay up past my bedtime to watch Raw. And I would always get in trouble watching Raw. And staying up past my bedtime in the basement, watching Raw, and then having my mom come down while the end of Raw's happening and you saw that ending. Yeah, it didn't help my case for wanting to watch Raw. Moving on. That was difficult. Chris Best coming in saying Kevin Kelly looked like he was going to shit himself in that segment. Well, I think in that segment you knew kind of where you're going to. You kind of had an idea of if you're going to get any backlash from a television company, if you're going to get any backlash from fans, you had an idea of what to expect. You can't do that being, what? It's just television. I mean, let's be honest. Like, you have to know what you're going to deal with. And maybe there's a level that you didn't expect it to go to, sure, but you had to expect backlash from that. I mean, I remember watching it. I was stunned. I couldn't even explain it. I couldn't even explain it to my parents. Like, this is pro wrestling? And I was like, yeah, Stone Cold was there. I don't know. But it was crazy. Like, we had Brian Pillman, who's the heel in the story, pull out a gun. Yes, he was getting the home invasion, but he pulled out a gun. Now, was he wrong? Or was Stone Cold wrong? I mean, in that store, I mean, they're both probably wrong. You don't home invade and you don't pull a gun out, but Chris Best is saying, I feel like that was Vince's response to the backlash. I mean, who's to say? I mean, Vince is probably going, this is some good shit. He's like, oh, what we need now is a dog eating peanut butter. That's funny. Vince is weird. He was weird. I mean, that you have to go back and look at like what he liked. It was a little bit old. I mean, the guy had not just a screw loose, but I think he was trying to build a house with Lego. And I just don't think that was working. But he thought it was possible. So then again, he seems like a guy who probably could build a real house with Lego and pull it off. So who am I to judge? But yeah, I mean, you flat out have a segment where you're using home invasion as an angle. You have to think that you're going to get a certain type of response from it. Was it executed badly? I don't know, because it got what it needed to across. There is pure hatred between these two. And it does seem like they're going to stop at nothing to get hands on each other. So do you now use a Hell in a Cell, a steel cage? Do you have no holds barred? Do you have no DQ? Falls count anywhere? What do you do something like that now for this match at WrestleMania? Do you up the stakes? So, needless to say, I don't think either one of these guys will be on the same roster after the next draft. I think that's safe to say. I think we might see LA Knight on Raw while AJ Styles stays on SmackDown. But Bastard, if I can ask, let us know. Let me know in the chat. What would you have done differently in this home invasion angle? What would have been the changes you personally would have made? Because I don't know. I'm intrigued to see kind of how this came across for everyone, because obviously I don't want to say mixed opinions, but I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but it's just not necessarily for me. If that makes sense. What matches are we all expecting to be the best match at WrestleMania? Do we think LA Knight and AJ Styles are going to have a banger of a match? Can they? Absolutely. I think anybody is capable of having a banger match. But which one's going to steal the show? I mean, I think if you really want to, you can pick apart WrestleMania and say, okay, which match am I emotionally invested on just because of the story? And I think Cody Rhodes might win that one. Is this the match where you actually see Roman lose the championship? Does he finish his story? Does something bigger happen? The match that could steal the show in terms of a dark horse, that it should be good, but we just don't know if they will be good, I think has to be Jimmy versus Jay. I mean, you had identical twins who know each other so well. First time they're in a big match situation against each other. You can only assume that they have an insane amount of ideas of what to do. What will it, like? What will happen? Joshua Joseph coming in saying we don't see Roman drop till Hogan's record is gone. Now I'm gonna ask this: why does Hogan's record matter so much? Why? Does he like? Why does the fact that they like it's not like if Roman passes Hogan, Hogan's record is erased or anything. It's not even the number one record. So like, why is the third best such an important record to have? I don't know. Like, I just don't know if that's. I don't know if that's necessarily the thought process in WWE. It might be. I just don't know if it is. He's saying because people are ignorant and hate him for what he did. I don't want it to happen. Hogan saved wrestling and brought it to known as what wrestling is now. Sure, but there's a lot of people in wrestling that are ignorant. I mean, a lot of people thought CM Punk was ignorant. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just interested to see if the Hulk Hogan record matters so much within WWE. Because if he was the number one record, if he was the benchmark, I could see maybe why it's that more important. I just don't know why the number 3 record is that important. Especially when, yeah, I know it's in the same year, and now it's that, but does Roman Reigns' title reign matter more if he loses it in a good story, or if he loses it after he becomes number 3? Chris Best is coming in saying, I'm having a hard time picking out my potential match of the weekend. The card for Mania looks, and Sandow and Liver both look stacked. I mean, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Josh, we know why we just can't say it without backlash. I mean, yeah, we know that Hulk Hogan's he's not well liked with the black people. We know that. But at the same time, I don't think that is a driving issue for WWE is saying we got to erase everything about Hulk Hogan. If that's the case, why not? Why is he in the video games? Why is his merchandise still being sold? Why does he why is he just referred to on programming? I'm aware of that, Josh. I'm aware that Roman is Samoan. But I don't know. I just don't see why. If you're gonna break Hulk Hogan's record and then enter in that thing, you might as well be all in for Roman Reigns to break any and all records. That to me, you've now put yourself in that pedestal because you will not be able to, you're just putting yourself so much into a position that you either go all in or all out, if you ask me. But yeah. But I mean, ads are ads. You want to get rid of ads? You gotta subscribe, bro. I try not to make ads that bad. I try to make them not bad, but want to make money too. But I don't know. To me, I think Roman Reigns is better off not breaking the record. I don't think he needs the record at this point. Chris Best is saying Hogan was pulled from all that for a time. He made his amends. Was a genuine question mark. Maybe, maybe not. People just need to learn to move on. I think that last part, move on. I think that's just it. Like people, I mean, I don't know. Like I really don't know how other people feel about Hulk Hogan in terms of how he's viewed by races. I just know I have a personal stance on Hulk Hogan, and that's my personal opinion. Do I like him as a pro wrestler? No, not really. But do I respect his contributions for pro wrestling? Absolutely. You cannot take away from what he did for pro wrestling. Now, as a human being, I don't have any time for him. I don't care too much about him. I don't follow him on any social media platforms. I don't care about what he tweets. I don't care about what he posts. I don't care. To me, his time is over, and we need to just move on. Yeah, he's a nostalgic act for me now. Like, I don't know. Like, I want to see how superstars of today become the Hulk Hogan of today. I thought John Cena did a great job. I thought Roman Reigns is doing a great job. Randy Orton is showing that he can have a Hall of Fame career and be a catalyst for the business without being that guy. I mean, he was a different guy, but he wasn't that guy. So, I mean, also, if you want a little tidbit of AEW news, I got one. Jake the Snake Roberts has re-signed with the company for one more year. That's it. Kind of forgot he worked there, but yeah, I don't know. In going back to the WrestleMania though, I really think the build on Bayley and Io is not living up to what we had hoped. I think Bayley is living up to what we had hoped, but I think the build with her and Io is not. I think this is looking more like a build between Bayley and others to fight Damage Control. This seems more of a build for a group versus group and a multi-person tag match. I want to see in the next two SmackDowns at least some more direct Io versus Bayley, and I want to see this. I want to see maybe Nick Aldis bad Damage Control from ringside, and I want to see him ban Naomi, Bianca, all that. I want to see a true one-on-one match with Bayley and Io. I really do. And I think they need that. And I think Bayley needs that. I think she needs the perfect story for her moment at WrestleMania. And I think of all people, she earned it. So, Chris Best is comforted in saying, does Jake have a Legends deal with WWE? Kind of surprised me that he could still be signed to AW yet. Still appeared at WWE games. He might. He doesn't really wrestle or really appear on AEW so very much. So I don't know. I don't think Jake the Snake Roberts appearing on AEW is gonna cause any stir with anybody. So he might have a like a licensing deal with 2K to use, with an agreement with WWE to use. Is he the only one? Is he the only one that doesn't work for that for WWE but still appears in the video game? Oh, I wonder too. Oh, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, I mean, as much as I love Jake the Snake, and just his promos and like his ability to capture your, what's the right word? Just being able to bring you into everything he did. He captured your attention. That was the word I was looking for. And he knew how to manipulate your attention in a promo. And I think that was so good and just so special. So I can only be I can only be surprised to think that out of that, you don't really think him being in a video game and him maybe appearing in AEW once in a while. I don't think that's a big deal. I don't know. I'd be curious to see how many people actually flat out play as Jake the Snake Roberts in the video game. As much as that might sound a little bit like I'm ripping on him, but it's Jake the Snake. If you picked up that game, have you actually played a match yet as Jake the Snake Roberts and it wasn't in a My Rise or story mode or stuff like that? I can tell you I haven't. Came up in a world where everyone shouted in their promos and he went the opposite way. Can it work? Yeah. Sometimes when you want everyone's attention, you don't have to be the loudest one in the room. When you kind of look at like the psychopaths of this world, they weren't always the ones enamoring for your attention. They just knew how to get it. So, especially if you're the naked guy in the room. Well, I mean, you just have to have something to look at, I guess. I mean, what was that thing? It was on How I Met Your Mother with the naked guy. If you wanted to up your chances of getting some, you just strip down because it's right there. I don't know. I thought it was a funny episode. So we got a new role for Pete Dunne, apparently. I'm reading from Wrestle Talk that he is a producer for the speed matches. So if you remember the little program, I think it's going through X, that WWE is doing the speed matches. They're 5-minute matches. And if you win a match, you get points. If you lose a match, you lose points. Or you don't get points, something like that. But yeah, supposedly Pete Dunne is listed internally as a producer for both the speed matches and listed as a sole producer with no. So, yeah, and he was listed as a sole producer with no co-producers. So he is in charge of the WWE speed matches. So that's interesting. Very interesting that Pete Dunne was picked as that guy. Not a bad choice by any means. The naked man works 2 out of 3 times. I mean, if you're a baseball player, you love 2 out of 3. That's like, if you go 2 for 3, like, you're like the greatest of all time in that game. But yeah, I mean, Chet, do you guys have something about wrestling you want to chat about? Some like of the whether it's current. I mean, here's a shout out to AEW. That Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland match was actually pretty fun to watch. I don't know why it wasn't the main event of the match. I don't know why they couldn't give them just that final slot. I mean, you give them an opportunity to just work. There's not a lot of people on that card can do a better job than them, if you ask me. Especially when you have Adam Copeland winning the championship in his hometown. Why not leave the crowd on the highest of notes? Why even mess with that? I mean, but the match was good. I enjoyed the match. Chris Best is saying that's kind of huge for him. Also, could be a test for him. Like, say, down the road, he wants to hang up the boots. They could have a producer job waiting for him. As for Pete Dunne, yeah. I mean, I think too, a lot of people just want to try their, just try out something different. I mean, we heard Bobby Roode kind of say in a video with Chris Van Vliet how much he wanted to do. Like when he initially signed with WWE, he knew he had time left in the ring, but he knew eventually he wanted to be a producer. He wanted to be behind the scenes. He wanted to do stuff there. So when he initially got hurt and had that surgery to fix his neck and everything, yeah, initially he wanted to like, okay, how quick can I be to return? But when the time kind of went and he was offered the producer role, he didn't really want to. It's not so much he doesn't want to go back. It just needs to be the perfect situation for him to go back into the ring. Like, he enjoys what he does right now behind the stage. That's what he wanted to do for WWE, and he's got it. So maybe Pete Dunne's the same way. Plus, WWE has just an insane amount of people helping him out too, just to pick the brains of. Like, oh my god, like you got Michael P.S. Hayes right there. Like that's the GOAT right now of producers. And then you can go up to just anybody of anybody. So, I mean, Jeremy Borash is there. That guy is. Nobody gives him enough credit for what he does, especially when you saw what the cinematic matches were in WWE were before he got there to what they were after. I mean, that is just one example of how good he is. So, but yeah, no, it's very interesting. I wonder who else would be wanting to be a producer or try their hands at producing as a talent. Because you have to think there's probably a lot of people that want to do more stuff like that. Like we talked about AJ Styles. Would he want to be a producer? It's all said and done, or would he prefer maybe to be in the coaching, like the teaching, like go to NXT and be a coach down there? Well, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing what he's able to do. Imagine if he and Shawn Michaels were your head coaches. Or, well, I know Shawn Michaels isn't a coach, but like, oh, we got Steve Corino, we got AJ Styles, we've got Shawn Michaels, we got Matt Bloom. Oh yeah, then William Regal's here from time to time. Well, Chris Best, like what you're saying, like imagine what cinematic matches could look like now with Borash. Borash had his hand in a lot of the cinematic matches. In fact, the Boneyard match was mainly done by Jeremy Borash. And I think Borash had his hands on the Firefly Funhouse match as well. But if they were to do more cinematic matches nowadays, I think if Jeremy Borash is involved, you're going to see a lot more realism. And I wouldn't even be surprised, knowing, like, we were talking about that home invasion thing. I wonder if Jeremy Borash was heavily involved in that as well. I mean, one could presume. We're 49 minutes into this podcast, and I just want to let everybody know how appreciative I am that you're spending your Sundays with me. But I also want to make sure that I remind you to like this channel, to follow this channel, to subscribe to this channel, and to hit that notification bell if you're following on YouTube, because you want to be alert. You want to be aware when we go live, right? You don't want to have to go back and watch it when you know you could have been in the live chat. You could have helped be a part of the show. Chris Best is saying yes, but I'm saying with the guy who took over Kevin in production, we've seen the production value of Raw and SmackDown go way up since the guy who took over. Yeah, no, exactly. And then that's what I mean. Like, it would have been intriguing to see some of the failed attempts on cinematic matches prior, and would they have saved kind of how we viewed WWE, and they were done differently? Could that have been a big moment? Because a lot of people said that the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse, whether or not you liked it or loved it, they were one of the most talked about matches following that year's WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, that was a pandemic year, sure. But when it's good, it's going to be talked about. And, or if it's something controversial, it's going to be talked about. If it's something that's worth your attention, you're going to talk about it. And I think that's something that Jeremy Borash accomplishes when he does stuff like that. And you have to just wonder if kind of if they are going to do more like that. Like if they're going to bring in Bo Dallas and have him do more stuff with the company, does he do more cinematic type roles? That could be intriguing. And the Firefly Funhouse match in WWE 2K24, that's intriguing. Like that's just interesting. Like getting all that stuff now in a video game, like whew, that's fun. But you know what? Just kind of looking at kind of what else is going on in the world of wrestling. And so we got a nice little thing. This is awesome. I always love bots in the chat. Gotta always love it, right? But it's all right. I'm on top of it. Messages deleted. Gotta love the bots though. I'd always wanted to know what was the whole initial point of a bot. Was it just getting your stuff across? Is it just that fun way of just selling your stuff? I mean, the one thing I like about bots, I like to see the names. Some of the names are actually quite hilarious, quite clever. But yeah, also gotta love just like the regular yellow icon with the black outline of a person, just the body and head. Just so, I mean, come on. If you're gonna give me a bot, like at least try a little bit. I don't know. Come on, bots, be better. Actually, don't, because like with how easy it is now to do that stuff, and how much detail goes in, it's kind of scary. So, not, but at least give me a promo, like a profile picture or something. But Wrestle Talk is confirming Adam Copeland AEW future plans, as he is expected to have an open challenge on the March 30th edition of Collision in London, Ontario, Canada. So the Cope Open is back. So, I mean, there's that. So Adam Copeland. Now, who do we think Adam Copeland is going to lose the championship to? That's something I'm actually interested in, because you can tell me how cool it is for somebody to win a championship, but then I'm always intrigued on, okay, where is your direction post this person? You know, if we were to have the game of like, who do we see all current champions drop a championship to, I think we're going to all have different ideas, different answers. And I think almost that's intriguing. Like Roman Reigns, who does he lose the title to? A lot of people think Cody Rhodes. Okay. Gunther, who does he lose the championship to? I think that one's a lot more polarizing. Adam Copeland, who does he drop the TNT title to? And that, to me, is a very intriguing one. I hope it's Daniel Garcia. I really do. And I really hope it's something where it's just a straight up wrestling match. And you have Daniel Garcia just come out the better man. Have his moment. I think that would be nice. I don't know. Maybe I'll throw up a poll on my socials and just have, who do we think is going to beat this person? Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll throw a poll, since right after all these shows, you can find the Chris Perish podcast live on Spotify. So within an hour after completion time on the live stream, you will see an uploaded version of this podcast, pretty much the exact podcast, on Spotify. So on Spotify, I can make a poll. I'm going to put up a poll is, who do you think Adam Copeland will drop the TNT championship to? Because I think that's a very intriguing one. There's a lot of people. What direction do you want for Adam Copeland? Do you go back to Christian Cage? Do you go to a kill switch? Do you do somebody completely different? Chris Best is coming in saying, Daniel Garcia is my pick. He's been on a nice little push. I think the TNT title and a match with Copeland could help him out more. Yeah. Do we think this Adam Copeland title challenge open thing is going to be comparable to the U.S. title open with John Cena? Are we going to see something a lot along those lines? Because if so, I'm all for it, because now I think that's just something that championship needs. Just a little boost up, like do something different with it, but do something more people are watching it. Have people watch these matches and just associate good matches with the championship. And I think you're going to get a different kind of match with Adam Copeland than you will Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega or a Samoa Joe or even a Swerve Strickland. I think you're just going to get that different type match. So, I don't know, maybe we see Adam Copeland be that guy to open up an opportunity for people, and we just see babyface after babyface after babyface, and he just has these awesome matches. I'll throw one name out that I think could be intriguing. Jay White. Chris Best is like, I kind of want to see Christian Cage move away from the TNT title. Honestly, wouldn't mind him moving into the world title picture. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Christian Cage is taking the title back, but I mean, I can also see maybe another year, they just have him be addicted to that championship. I mean, if Christian Cage is the face attached to a championship, I don't think that championship is in much. I don't think that championship looks terrible by any means. I mean, there are worse guys to be tattooed for that championship too than Christian Cage. I think you're doing just fine if Christian Cage is the face of your championship. What else could we see? Yeah, back to WrestleMania matches that could stand out. I have a strong feeling Gunther and Sami Zayn is going to be a match where everyone is talking about. I think that could be the match where we say, if Gunther does not lose the championship, I think we're going to finally have people saying, well, I kind of wish Sami Zayn won that. I think that's going to be something we see. And I kind of hope that's kind of where we go. If Sami Zayn doesn't walk out as champion, which I do hope he does, I would like to see Gunther move into the world title picture myself. Yeah, it's something that, imagine if you had Gunther versus Cody as a face-off the title after WrestleMania. Is that such a bad thing? I don't know. I just don't know. As we're kind of hitting that hour point, I'm just going to let everyone know I do not plan on going 2 hours or an hour and a half. So if you have any questions or any topics, please get them in now, as I think we're hitting the near end of this episode. But I just, again, want to just put out there that I appreciate every single one that takes the time to spend their time with me here on the Chris Perish podcast. I appreciate it. The last two, I've been trying to just do something a little bit different. Always wanted to kind of see if I could potentially get the one-man show off, have an opportunity to do that. Let me know if you guys enjoy that. If you don't, do what. If you tell me, hey, bring Josh back, he makes a show, I don't disagree. I do plan on having Josh back at some point. I love that guy too much to never work with him again. We will be back. He will be back at some point. Great guy. Go check him out over at the Window Lickers. I know he does the Raw review and pre-show match right before the Raw Patrol goes live. So go check that out over on his channel as well. Go support him. But yeah, I think if we are kind of at that point, I think I'm going to bid you guys adieu. I'm going to kind of call it here. I'm going to send, if you're on the Twitch, I'm going to raid a channel. And just to show that there's no bad blood, I'm going to bust you guys over to an old friend, Bobby Munson. So go check him out right now, as that's going to be a thing in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you are now at Bobby Munson. Everybody who's on the YouTube and the Facebook, thank you. I appreciate it. Chris Best, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Please, again, let's share this channel out. Let's share the show out. Let's try to build this community as much as we possibly can, because it's something that I want to see how big we can go. It's one last little plug. If you guys want to check out all my socials, you will see it on the end video. But also, what I want to say is, come check out my Discord. Discord's right there on the bottom there at discord.gg/3JBG7Y2G. That is the invite code. Let's get that up and going. I want to see what it's like to have a cool Discord. So, but yeah, for everyone who's with me, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your day. Be safe. Love each other. And go Saints.